My name is Emry Bates, and I am lost in a parallel dimension. My colleagues and I were working on interdimensional time discrepancies, and somehow the six of us were transported to a parallel universe. I don't want to go back. My son, who perished about 3 years ago when he was 8, is alive in this universe, but I don't know how to interact with him. When I returned home, my son looked me in the face and said that I was a ghost. I saw my wife, and then I heard the police sirens.
Emry Bates, a man who had been declared dead 5 years prior, suddenly appeared at the backyard of his home. Several people saw Emry, including his neighbors, mailman, and his widowed wife. Police were dispatched immediately to Bates's home, but the man who allegedly impersonated Dr. Bates sprinted down the street and evaded the police, all the while leaving his 11-year-old son standing in awe, wondering if he truly saw his father.
I ran away from the police as best as I could and found refuge near an old diner. I glanced at a newspaper and saw that the year was 2029. How is that possible? When we first started working on Project Nexus, the year was 2024. But regardless, I removed my cell phone and scrolled through social media and tried to figure out what was happening. I wasn't really surprised when I found out that my phone didn't work. Nothing worked. I couldn't call anyone. I think the version of me in this universe died, and that's why my son called me a ghost. But now, how do I reconnect with my family?
Once the police report had been filed and CCTV footage was collected from neighbors and nearby businesses, the identity of Emry Bates had been confirmed, and 2 government agents had been stationed outside the Bates' home. 2 weeks of surveillance yielded nothing, and Emry, for lack of a better word, had entirely disappeared, but not quite.
So I've decided to lay pretty low for 2 weeks. I don't know why, but I was able to call the others, Olivia, David, Ethan, all of them. For some reason, my phone worked, but when I tried to call a local business, it didn't work. After studying the papers and visiting a library, I've come to the conclusion that since I am in a parallel universe, objects from the universe of origin can interact with each other, but I cannot use objects outside of this new universe to interact with this new universe. Example, I called my wife from the phone in the diner and explained to her that we were working on Project Nexus, and then we were transported to a parallel universe. She told me about my passing and that she was glad I was here, but when I tried to call that same number from my cell phone from the universe of origin, it didn't work. But when I called her back on the diner phone, that phone worked. And when she answered, we talked for a little bit, but then I heard a scream, and then the phone cut off.
A few days after the phone call, the Bates' home was listed on the housing market, and where Bates moved to was a mystery for the neighbors, friends, and family. They insisted it wasn't like the Bates to up and leave without saying goodbye, but that seems to be exactly what happened. Before the house was put up for sale, government officials investigated the home, indicating that a meth lab was in the basement, thereby justifying their excessive amount of caution tape, and at times blocking off the entire neighborhood for days at a time. Though the detectives informed the public that they found nothing of significance, they did indeed find something.
I watched as they moved out. I saw the detectives sitting outside my home, waiting for me to return. They must know about Project Nexus and its significance. I don't know what to do, because now the lives of my family are at stake. I'll wait it out for a few more days, and then I'll sneak into the house. It's been 4 days now, and as far as I can tell, they've moved out, packed right up right and quick, and some of the movers they didn't seem like movers to me. I think they work for the shadow government, and stranger than that is not once did I see anyone from my family. I think something happened to them. I snuck into the house the other day, and I realized I had left my phone on the counter. I tried to call my colleagues, but no one answered, and for some stupid reason, I left it on the countertop. Stupid me. Absolutely stupid.
For reasons unknown, government officials remained near the property, and as realtors walked would-be buyers through the home, men in black suits followed the realtors and supposed buyers around the home. This led to the property sitting abandoned for weeks on end until someone purchased the house. One by one, residents of the neighborhood moved out as strange creatures started appearing in the area. Creatures with a frame of a dog or a wolf, cobalt fur, jet black eyes. These creatures, they started prowling the neighborhood. Though Emry didn't know it, his very presence, since he was not of this universe, left anomalies in his wake.
I waited around for a while, and then I saw it. I saw a creature walk through a split in space. It had long fangs, jet black eyes, and cobalt fur. I wonder if that's why the government is staking my home out. Are these things following me around, and if they are, why? I sat for a while and snuck away from my home. The creature, whatever it was, caught my scent and followed me. I stared at it, observing, and no one else could see it. No one, well, except for the men sitting outside of my house. But other than that, I watched the creature follow me, and people walked right past it. They didn't even notice it. But the creature, it noticed me, and it watched me as I ran from it.
Emry wasn't the only person who saw these same cobalt creatures. A couple of other people had seen them, but it appeared that more people didn't see them than did. The people who did see them, they reported their sightings to the police, only for the creatures to suddenly vanish, as if they chose to recede into the folds of space. Though many people seeing the creatures, not a single incident had been reported which involved malice or injury. As far as anyone could tell, these creatures were mostly harmless, searching for something which the denizens of Earth were unaware of.
As it followed me, it smelled the air, but it, whatever it was, didn't seem to care too much about me. I don't know why, so I slowly shirked away from it, and then an eyeball opened up in front of me. It glanced at me, and then the creature, before it could react, the creature lunged for the eyeball, and then it was in the creature's mouth, between its teeth. It clamped shut on the eye, and I think I heard a pop. It was then that the creature curled upward, arching its back, and yelped. It perished then and there. Whatever this creature is, it's hunting those eyes, and as for the eyes, what do they want? As I stood there in stupid awe, the creature must have become visible to everyone around me, because a woman released a deafening scream. That's when the guards came, and I started to run.
Once Emry's tapes was published on conspiracy theorist forums on the internet, a plethora of eyewitness accounts of these alleged creatures and the eyes they hunted circulated across the threads of the World Wide Web, as did the mention of a cosmic god named Naz'ri-Dyn. Olivia was the first to report such a thing, but in her lost tape, she had indicated that though she didn't see any creatures, a particular nightmare haunted her every night. Fortunately for Emry, he had no such dreams. However, he had been captured by the government agents, and his whereabouts at that time were unknown.
These agents pressed me for information about a monster I hadn't even heard of, and neither has David or Ethan, but I guess Olivia has? I don't know what to believe because this all sounds too surreal. These agents told us that the 6 of us were exposed to a cosmic god called Naz'ri-Dyn. I've never heard of that, and have no idea what to do with that information. I just want my family back, but the agents who brought me here were pretty firm about why such a thing can never happen. They told me that when we crossed into this parallel universe, we switched places with everyone who already existed here. The other version of me is in my old universe, probably looking for his deceased daughter. As for everyone else, gone, likely forever. They told me there's countless parallels, and when one of us crosses to another, it releases a type of energy that alerts our existence to not just Naz'ri-Dyn, but any cosmic god who may be watching. And those eyes opening portals, they're providing an escape to your home universe because Naz'ri-Dyn is coming for this planet in this universe.
As the sightings of the floating eyes increased, so did the number of missing persons. Emry was taken to Jackson Air Force Base, a classified military compound located somewhere in the northeastern part of Florida, and once there, he was met by 2 of his 5 other colleagues, Olivia and Ethan. As the public outcry grew and the sightings of both the creatures and the floating eyes increased, the United States government did what little it could to ease the pressure mounting on them. Rather than try to calm the public, the military planned a strategic defense should a cosmic entity come.
Okay, so this is it. I've been trapped in this bunker for I don't know how long, and so has Olivia and Ethan. I don't know what's been going on with Ethan. He doesn't know anything about Project Nexus. He doesn't know anything about NASA. He doesn't know anything about what we've been working on. It's like he has amnesia. I don't know what's going on with this guy. Olivia suggested that maybe Ethan at some point crossed into a parallel dimension and he returned to the dimension of origin, and the Ethan that we're dealing with right now, the reason he doesn't remember anything is because he's back in his home universe. And they don't have Project Nexus here. They don't have NASA. They don't have any of that stuff. But what I don't understand is that David's missing and nobody knows what happened to him. He might be dead. I don't know what's going on. But something huge is happening. They want us to return to our parallel dimension because they believe that once we do, the thing which is exposing us will diminish. We spoke with a few astrophysicists who know more than we do, and they explain that since we don't belong in this dimension, we're creating time distortions that they're minute for us, but for interdimensional beings, they can see that. And I guess the best way it can be explained is through quantum entanglement. The thing is, whatever it is that keeps the 2 quantum particles in communication is invisible to us, but there's something there. We just can't see it. So visualize a cable connecting the 2 particles. No matter how far apart the particles are, the cable is there. Now, imagine, if you will, a knot in that cable. Information builds up in the knot because a bottleneck has been formed, and now the bottleneck emits some kind of energy, like water spraying out of a pin-sized hole in a knotted garden hose. These people believe that's what's happening. By switching places, we created an energy signature which can be detected, and because of that, these entities found us, and for whatever reason, this planet and this universe has been chosen. But here's the thing. We don't know how we did what we did. Dr. Patel, he's tried to recreate it. Curious if we could somehow return to our home universe. These scientists claiming this is this and that is that, they simply don't know. How could they know? Everything at this point is just an idea. As far as I'm concerned, I'll sit here and fold my arms. I can't see my family. I can't return to my home universe even though they want me to. I'll just sit here locked in a secret government bunker until the world ends, I guess, because no one knows I'm here. I don't mean to be cynical, but if there actually is a cosmic God watching us and it's coming for us and it's going to end the planet, is there anything that I or anyone else can actually do about it? If we can't do anything about it, then why worry about it?